session is going to get recorded so that you can get the recording after the session itself. So today, the topic which I shared in the group, which is all about the art of thinking. And I'm not going to be telling you how to think or what to think, because thinking is something which we all know, and we do not need any intellectual ability to do that. But my job today is to show you, to make you aware of certain things, because there is a famous quotation in English that is, to understand the speed of the train, you cannot do it while sitting it in the train. You have to get outside the train and then see with an odometer as what's the speed. Similarly, most of the times we know what to do, but just because we are the passenger inside the train, we do not observe our actions. So you can observe your actions only when you are not the part of the process, but you are out of the process. So today I will be talking about certain things which you may know, and you have to be an observer today to pick what nuances that you do in your speaking, in your life, of course, and then on which areas you can work to correct your own self. So let's get started. Now, before we begin, I would like to share one story, and that is something which I do love. And I have come across this story recently. And the story is all about Mr. Suraj, you have to connect your audio. I guess your audio is not connected. So please connect your audio. Just give me a second, everyone. Please connect your audio. Yes. So I hope you may be aware of this language Hindi. So all of us know Hindi. So I have picked up these two characters, and the name of the one character is Umid and another one is Andhera. So there are these two characters. One is Umid and another one is Andhera. So Umid is all about positive. So he's a person who thinks positively. He always interprets the situation in a manner that works in his favor. He always remain positive, motivated, inspired, and he's always primed and ignited with reverence and enthusiasm and a lot of energy. On the contrary, Andhera is somebody who is into indignation, who is a character who doesn't like his job at all, who always lives in a category where he just complains about things that keeps on happening with his life. He always come across with statements like I cannot do or it cannot be done. In short, he is quite pessimistic. And both of them were salesperson, and they were working in one of the greatest organizations of footwear industry. So in 1954, when we had no technology, no internet, so it was quite difficult for a person to research about expanding business by just going into Google and research about the country. So what happened that these two people, they were doing great, they were doing excellent in their organization. So one day, looking into their performances, the management decided to call upon and give them an opportunity. So they called Umid and Andhera, and they just told to them that they were about to expand in Africa. And the management chose both of them to go and prepare a feasibility report as what's the scope of businesses in America? Is footwear industry going to grow? Is there any competitor over there? How's the environment? How are we going to make money at that region? So when Umid heard this, he got literally excited. He thought that such a great opportunity it is. And it is so good that management had lots of people in the team, but still they chose me, they considered me for this amazing opportunity. My God, I would be going to a new state. I would be looking into the different economy. I'm going to, I would be talking to a lot of people, and I would be visiting the wildlife sanctuary over there. So it's such an exciting journey. And how good it is that the company is trying to expand over there, and they are considering us to go and do our research. So Umid got excited. He was literally energized. On the contrary, Andhera. So when he heard that the management picked him up for this feasibility report testing, he got quite, as usual, he got negative, and he came across with a statement that, management has some issues with me. It's such a poor place, Africa. It's filled with a lot of dust, mosquito, and people are illiterate over there. What's the point of I going and doing research? It's such a poor country. India is such an enriched country. We should be doing business over here. I think management doesn't want me to grow, and that's why they are just throwing me into these illicit missions. But yes, finally, because it was the company's call, so both of them decided to go to Africa. And after a month, they were required to prepare the feasibility report and send it to the company by means of telegram. And the telegram came to the management, and let me read the telegram for all of you. So if we talk about Andhera, so in his telegram, he wrote, it's such a vicious place, such a pathetic place, complete waste of time, complete waste of company's money and mine. We cannot grow our business over here because in Africa, nobody wears shoes at all. They love to travel, they love to walk barefoot. So the company cannot expand at all. So it's rubbish thinking to come in Africa and set up our own complex, our own industry. That's what he wrote in the telegram. On the contrary, when it comes to Umid, so on his telegram report, he wrote, it's such a great place. There are great opportunities lying in Africa. There are no footwear companies available in Africa. That means we are going to be the only one who is going to be selling the footwear. We can create the monopoly over this market. In fact, the most important thing is that we can spread in this region because people do not wear footwear. That means they do not have footwear to wear. So we can manufacture and provide it to them. So it's a huge scope and an opportunity for growth. And guess what? The management decided to give Umid an opportunity. So they promoted him as a project head. He went, and it was, and after that, the company flourished like anything in Africa. But Andhera, so he was into the same designation, he was into the same position, complaining, cribbing, crying. The situation was same for both of them. They had the same talent, they had the same skill, but their way of looking into the things were quite different. For one, it was a complete transformation for Umid. He completely transformed himself. He completely changed himself. Transform, in fact, the word transform itself is a great word. Transform means completely different outlook, completely different perspective. On the contrary, Andhera remained in the same position for the lifetime. Guess what? Everything was equal. Their skill set was equal. Degree was also equal. Technically, they were also equal. But guess what? Mindset was something which was not equal. For Umid, it was all about positive approach. For Andhera, it was all about negative approach. And that is why in Hindi we say, nazar ka ilaj zarur ho sakta hai, par nazariye ka nahi. And nazariya is something, that attitude is something which you can develop over a period of time, staying with people who have that great vision, who are great visionary. And that's what is the story that I would wanted to share with all of you, because one person depicts Sambhavna, another person depicts Rukavati. And in fact, there is a famous philosopher who says that no event has a meaning, we give a meaning to it. Nothing is good or bad unless we give a meaning to it. Maybe the same situation can be a challenge for you, but it can be an opportunity for other. Maybe not knowing English is a challenge for you, but learning English can be an opportunity for others. It is all about your views, your perception, how you look into the things, and it is all about mindset. And that is why through this workshop today, I would like to give it a try, because ultimately we cannot make a change in one day. So that is something which I cannot completely promise, but we should definitely try. And that is what the today's session is all about. In fact, there is a term called self-fulfilling prophecy. What is self-fulfilling prophecy? Self-fulfilling prophecy says that if you say something or if you think something, then you are already determining your future. Imagine before doing anything, you come with a statement that I cannot do it. It is not possible for me. And when you say or do it, guess what? Your habits or your actions go in sync with what you say, how you think, what you think. And that is why you are determining your own future. You are determining your own, what we call, prophecy. And in Hindi, that is why we say, आप अपनी भविष्यवाणी खुद ही कर रहे हो. By thinking, by speaking the kind of words which you use in your daily life, the glass can be half empty, the glass can be half filled. And the way you think, that way you determine your life. So that is called self-fulfilling prophecy, where your words and actions, by means of your words and actions, you determine your future. That is why it is so very important for us to think, but to use our imagination in our favor, not against us. And guess what? We use or we take most of our decisions in life by means of fear. So fear is our motivating factor. Imagine, and this is something which I come across every single day when students give me a call and say that, sir, I don't want to learn English because if I do not, maybe I cannot get a job. Fear of rejection. Sir, I want to learn English because if I cannot, then people are going to judge me. Fear of judgment. Sir, I want to learn English because if I do not, then maybe I cannot get promotion. Fear of judgment or fear of not getting promotion. Fear of missing out, which we call in broader aspect. So based upon all the decisions that we make in our life, fear is the deciding factor. And guess what? According to a famous artisan, Michelangelo, he said that if you take decision based upon fear, then you will end up living a mediocre life throughout your life. But on the contrary, if you take a decision based upon enthusiasm, positivity, and encouragement, that I want to learn English because I want to change my life. I want to learn English because I know that it can completely turn around the way I operate. I want to learn English because I want to improve my efficiency. I do not want it for promotion. That is an output, that is a byproduct. Of course, I will be getting a job. Of course, I will be getting a promotion. But I want to learn English because it is going to give me new era, new perspective, new challenges, new way of thinking. And when you learn anything with this kind of enthusiasm, guess what? Now you are moving towards the top 5%. And they take decisions not because they think or they take decision based upon fear. They take decision based upon the positive attitude, the positive perception that they have, that they carry. And today, my next part, the next half of the session, I would like to talk about a book by Bronnie Weil, And she wrote a famous book, and that is the five regrets of a dying people. The five regrets of the dying people. And I'm quoting this book, I'm presenting the anecdotes inside the book, so that at the end you can have some modus operandi to work upon. You do have something to work upon. And I know that majority of the things you may know, but you knowing and you taking action, these are completely different things. We know in our life we do not need to waste time. Guess what? We waste time. So take knowing and taking an action, these are two different things. And that is why I would like to present the anecdotes from this book, the lessons from this book, the five lessons which author quoted after 8 years of her deep research. So the author, Bronnie Weil, so what she did, that she interacted for the entire 8 years to the group of people, to the people in hospitals who were on their deathbed, because she wanted to know what kind of thought process they carry at the end when they were on deathbed, when their death is sure, what kind of regrets that they have. I'm sure if I ask all of you to prepare the list of regret, then it can be long and it can be quite depressing, because we have multiple regrets in mind, in our life. And if we start writing it down, if we start jotting it down, then eventually we can hurt our emotions. And the same thing, it happens to the people who are on their deathbed. So after her extensive research of 8 years, she came with a title, because over a period of time she realized that the patterns were almost similar. The kind of regrets which people had, it was quite similar, and that's why she encapsulated all the regrets in 5 points. And the author began this book with a famous line that the secret or the secret of art of living lies in the secret of art of dying. If you know how to die, then definitely you must have an understanding of how to live. There was this famous philosopher, Leonardo da Vinci, and he said that as a day well spent brings happy sleep, so a life well spent brings happy death. And he quoted happy death. Let me repeat once again: as a day well spent brings happy sleep, so a life well spent brings happy death. And by quoting this, I would like to present the five regrets which the author quoted in the book of the people who were on the deathbed. The first regret, which most of the people, 99% of the people, that they had while writing the book was, I wish I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. That means I wish I had the courage to follow what I wanted in my life. I wish I would have done that. I wish I should have done that. I wish I should have gone for my passion. I wish I should have tried that thing. And guess what? That's the first regret. Just because we want to be in sync with society, just because we want society not to defame us, just because we want to be a goody goody person, somebody who should be liked by people, we take decision which ultimately we do not love. In fact, sometimes we try to look, or we try to reach into the sky without even the understanding that the ground on which we are right now, it is blossoming up with flowers. Sometimes we are into a race, and at the end we just ask this question, that am I running the right race or not? We are just blankly and blindly following the race. And that's the number one regret of most of the people who are in their deathbed, that they wish that they had enough courage to do what they wanted to do in their life. not because what society thinks this is the definition of so-called success, but what they thought, what success for them. And again, the famous quotation by Wayne Dyer, who is an amazing author, come life coach. He says that even if a sweeper sweeps the road, he should be so perfect in his work that even the God from heaven should say that this man has done his job best in the best possible manner. So even if the sweeper enjoys his work, I'm not telling that he is satisfied with his work, but even if he enjoys his work, even that is something which he should be doing, not following the definition that society has imposed on us about success. Imagine, and that's what I do love to quote. So there is this famous novel by Leo Tolstoy called The Death of Ivan Ilich. So this book portrays a character called Ivan Ilich, who was successful, who was making a great amount of money, who had a successful family, who had a great family. He was blessed with all the worldly wisdom. He had great client base. He had no stress at all. But from deep within, he was not satisfied. He was not happy. He knew that something was missing in his life. Some meaning was missing in his life. Maybe he was not getting the appreciation, or he was just looking for something. And he was quite confused because according to society, he was successful and he was making a decent amount of income, an income that his upcoming generations could easily survive on. But he was not happy. And thereafter, he came up to a realization that he had met with a cancer, a rare cancer which could not be treated. Now he was on his bed and he started complaining, cribbing, and started getting angry on his relatives, people. And at the end, he just asked this one question, that I did everything, but was I living the life? Was I making the right choices? Was I living the life that I truly wanted? Or my way of living the life was completely wrong? And that's a story which always inspires me, because that's the question which we do not ask. We just blindly follow. Yes, I have to prepare for the government job. Why? Because people say that is good. But we never apply our mind that what is good for me? Is it good for me? Do I even want to do it? Or do I want to become an engineer? And guess what? You come across with a statement that engineers do not have the scope. Engineers have the scope. Get, you are not, you do not have enough conviction to go and look for that scope. And let me give you the present this example, and then you can understand. So there was this famous historical anecdote, a story, and that is called the story of the greatest Michelangelo. And it's a true story. You can even look for it on the internet. And the story is all about that there was a city called Sicily, and there was a mayor in that city. So one day he found a great piece of granite, and he decided to bring it into the palace, and he wanted some great thing to be created, some great statue to be created out of that granite. And he invited everybody from the palace, but nobody could say yes until they finally decided to call upon the greatest artist, Michelangelo. When Michelangelo looked upon the granite, he just said that I need 2 years and I can come with a great piece of art. And that's why he shut himself down, he shut himself inside the room, and he started working upon it. And after 2 years, guess what? He created the masterpiece of Renaissance, a masterpiece that is in the Museum of New York history till the date, and it is one of the best artistry work of Michelangelo. And when Michelangelo was asked that how did he come to this realization that even that kind of greatest artistry can be created out of a granite, he said that when I looked upon the granite, I already had the picture of what I wanted to create. So I didn't see the granite. Rather, I saw the image. I saw the statue that I wanted to create out of that granite. So the statue was already there inside the granite. What I did, I simply used the hammer and chisel, and I just chipped away and removed all the unnecessary material. That's it. The statue was already there inside the grain. My job, what I had to do, I simply had to chip away the impurities and the mud which was on the surface. That's it. And that is the story not only of Michelangelo, it is our story as well. We are complete. We are blissful. We are, we have directly come from, we are the product of nature, and nature is perfect. We are the product, we are the creation of God. But over a period of time, we accumulated dust. We accumulated the thoughts and idiosyncrasies of the society. And what through today's session, I want all of you to do is just like the way Michelangelo chipped away the impurities and created this beautiful artistry. Similarly, you also have to chip away, you also have to remove some of the thought process, some of the ideas, some of the limiting beliefs that you have. And once you remove, once you take them out of you, guess what? Even you can also be a masterpiece like the masterpiece of Renaissance. And that's the first point. Remove all the barriers or the blockages, everything that you have in mind, so that you can come to a position where you can listen to your heart. That's the first regret which people have, that I wish I had taken up the courage to go for what I love. The second regret which people had, which the author quoted in the book called The Five Regrets of the Dying People, was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Now, for people, and that is a statement which I'm about to make that can completely challenge your existing belief, that we think that only working hard is the key to success. Well, guess what? It is not. If that would be the truth, then why a rickshaw puller working so hard from morning to evening, not making the money, not living the life that he desires? I wish I hadn't worked so hard. The author simply wanted to say, or people simply wanted to convey, that they decided to work upon something which they didn't love. They wanted to become a singer, but because of the pressure of the society, family, they ended up taking a different job. Or maybe according to the definition of society, what success was, they took different decision than what they actually wanted to do. And that is why they did not love the process, they did not enjoy the process. And the work now became the load for them. And that is why we call as workload. We never say, and that is how we came across coined this term, workload. I'm under too much workload, because it's the load which always keeps on hitting your mind. Now, if you pick the work that you love doing, and this is the famous quote by William James. He's an amazing author. You can look up to his book. He is a great philosopher. He's a life coach. And he says that if you pick the work that you love doing, if you pick the work that you love doing, you don't have to work even a single day in life. You don't have to work even a single day in life. Somebody went to Jeff Bezos and asked that, you are the richest person of the world. I guess you work too hard. And he said that, no, I do not work too hard. I love what I do. And that is why I'm in so much love with the process of this work, that I do not feel burden at all. I'm in love with this process. Yes, it was a challenge for me earlier when I started in 1997 with this brand called Amazon. And I was not in love with the output. I was in love with the process. I wanted to bring certain change. I wanted to work to help the society. I wanted to create a platform which can add value to people's life. And that is what I did. And that's why I'm in so much love with this process. I'm in so much love with my work, that work is not a boredom. Work is not a load for me at all. And guess what? When work doesn't become your load, you make money. You make tremendous amount of money. And if you just contemplate whatever I've just said, people who have workload are the people who do end up living a mediocre life. But people to whom work is not load, rather they enjoy the work, they enjoy the process, no matter whatever the challenges that they have, because challenges are there in every situation. But just like Umeed and Andhera, how you interpret the situation, that is completely up to you. And your interpretation of the situation can determine your output. So ultimately, at the end, it is you who is responsible for your life, nobody else. That leads me to my third regret. The third regret, which is quoted in that book called The 5 Regrets of the Dying People, is people said the third regret: I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. I would like to say one thing, that the most underexpressed emotion of all is appreciation. Expressing your feelings does not mean to express feelings to the loved one. Expressing your feelings means to appreciate people, to apologize to people for the work which you do in a wrong manner. Guess what? We do not appreciate people. We are losing this ability, which is one of the most important abilities which that can truly make you a leader. We are losing it. We do not even apologize. We do not like to apologize because guess what? Our ego is more important than relation, than feelings. And that's why the famous Institute of America, Hartman Institute, has come up with this terminology called HAPS model, HAPPS, HAPS model, HAPPS. So what HAPS is all about? So HAPS is all about, H stands for habitually. So you should habitually appreciate people. Then A, authentically. You should not only appreciate people for the fact of appreciation. Rather, you should appreciate people with authenticity. Then promptly. P stands for promptly. When it comes to appreciation, we do not do it quickly. But when it comes to finding the fault in people, we do it in a matter of seconds. See, you are wrong at this. See, you are wrong at that. So we are very good at making negative comments. We are very quick at making negative comments, but we never take time to pause and look for something good in the situation. So be very prompt and active and quick in appreciating people, not degrading people. Then again, the next P of HAPS model, HAPPS, the next P of HAPS model is proportionately. Means you should know the facts and figures so that you can justify your appreciation. You should not falter appreciation, but just to make people feel good about you, you should not be doing false appreciation at all. You should support your appreciation with a fact and figure. And I can see a lot of people when they come and they go for the interview, and when the first question which is being asked to them is, tell me about yourself, they always say, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. What's this? Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. You rather you should be thankful for the situation. And what's the point of thanking them that thank you so much for the opportunity? Nothing is going to happen. Rather, if they ask you, tell me about yourself, you should directly give them answers which can make them feel that yes, you are the right candidate for them. Yes, you can use these phrases when it comes to any impromptu group discussion. There it is valid. And the fifth point, HAPS model, is specific. Be specific about your appreciation. And do not say that, oh, you look gorgeous. Imagine, I'm just giving you an example. How do we appreciate people? Let's say Suraj is there and I have to give him a compliment. Suraj, you look great. That's a vague comment. That's not specific. But if I make a specific comment, Suraj, your dress looks pretty well. The color is quite matching with your personality. And the smile which you exhibit, it truly adds to your personality. The kind of simplicity which you carry definitely has an appealing nature. Guess what? Now I am becoming specific. Now he's also going to accept me, and now he's not going to think that no, sir is appreciating me because he has to. But Suraj deserves to be appreciated. That's why I have appreciated, but in a specific manner. So be specific with your appreciation. And that is called the HAPS model. H for habitually, A for authentically, P for promptly means quickly. P, then again, the next P stands for proportionately, and S for specific. And always remember that that's a bonus tip which I'm about to give, that the way we are so quick in making negative assumptions, just try to change your perspective and be quick in finding the positivity in a situation. Just like Umeed and Andhera, Umeed found possibility, Andhera found only negativity. So try to be like Umeed and not Andhera. And that is why if we do not appreciate, then we depreciate. If we do not appreciate, then we depreciate. But if we appreciate, there is a term which I have coined, that is called appreciate. Appreciate means we always go to the upper direction. Depreciate means lower direction. Appreciate means upper direction. And there is a famous saying in Hindi. I would like to quote that Hindi statement because Hindi has its own flavor. And that is, सीढ़ियां तो एक ही होती है. कुछ लोग इसे ऊपर जाने के लिए और कुछ लोग इसे नीचे जाने के लिए यूज करते हैं. So it is completely up to you. The CD has no meaning at all. How you interpret the situation, how you express your feelings, how you use your words. The words are, of course, of English. Words are like that CD, that stair. How you use it, it can it can move you to where you want to reach, or it can also depreciate you to the point where you do not want to reach at all. So that is why I'm in love with communication, because through communication, you can be expressive, you can express your feelings. That leads me to the fourth regret, because we are only done with 3 regrets. The fourth regret, which majority of the people have when they are on their deathbed, is I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. We are so busy in being busy that we actually aren't busy. We are unproductive. God cannot give more than 24 hours. It is fixed for all of us. It is fixed for Wayne Dyer. It is fixed for Warren Buffett. But they make, most of the time, they do not work for money, rather money work for them. On the contrary, we keep on working for money, but we do not get money at all. Rather, we get stress, depression, anxiety. And in doing so, we forget the most important part of our life, which is relationship. We always talk about work-life balance, but why not in another way, life-work balance? Don't you think that it should be life at first and then work? Because ultimately you work to sustain your life. So why not have a great, healthy, and fulfilling life where you have people and there are great benefits that you can get while creating friends? Of course, 2 most important things which you get if you do have better relationships and friendships are, the first one is people who you do spend time with, majority of the time you do become like them. So imagine I do spend time with Andhera, then I will be acting like Andhera. And if I would be spending my time with Umeed, then I will act like Umeed. That's how important it is to choose your surrounding, to choose your friend circle, to have a great relationship. Relationships can add glory to your life. And the second benefit of having good friend circle is that they can give you diversified ideas. One mind can only think of one idea, but imagine 5 people like you sit together, discuss upon the different dimensions of life. At the end of the discussions for the same scenario, you are going to have 5 different point of views, and you can choose the best out of them, and that can work for you. But over a period of time, we are being busy, so we are busy in being so busy that we forget the importance of friendship. And we do think that yes, on weekends or friends are only for happy moments and sad moments. No, friends are for your life moments. And of course, happiness and sadness is a part of life. But if you do have good relationship with people, not family, but friends, then you could be you could lead a different life altogether. And I all do suggest you to watch this movie called The Equalizer in English. The Equalizer. And the another movie is called The Wedding Ringer. The Equalizer you can watch, and The Wedding Ringer. You can understand the importance of relationship and how it can contribute, how it can completely change the way you think, the way you speak, the way you lead your life. I love these two movies, and that's why I played the song of that movie in the beginning of the session as well. And the fifth regret, now we have come to the fifth and the last regret of the people who are on deathbed, and that is this, and which is most important of all. I wish I had let myself be happier. I wish I had let myself be happier. Over a period of time, we always try to make people happy. We try to make our parents happy. We try to make our sisters happy. We're trying to make our siblings happy. We even try to make our society happy. But we do not try to make ourselves happy. And that's the greatest conviction, that's the greatest conspiracy that is present in today's world, that we want to make others happy, but not our own self. We want to make others appreciate us, but we do not appreciate ourselves. And in short, that is called gratitude in today's term. Feel good and feel better, feel good, be appreciative about what you have in life. Not because you have to be there, but because you care what you have. And there's a famous story which I was just telling uh, to my senior a few days back. And I got this story from this famous TV series called Anupama. So there, one story was there that once the manager of one company, uh, he was just crossing the road and he saw one beggar begging for pennies. And the manager felt pity, so he decided to bring out his ring and give it away to the beggar. And then he went inside the industry with an utter satisfaction that yes, today I did something good. Now that beggar won't have to do the begging anymore. He can have his own business because the ring is worth $1 million. After 10 years, he was again passing by the same road and he saw the same beggar exactly begging on this at the same point of place. So he decided to just went out and talk to that beggar. So he went up to the beggar and asked, "Did I give you one ring 10 years back and that was of gold? So why didn't you do something with that? Like I expected you to be richer by this time. So why are you still a beggar?" And he said that, to be honest, when you gave me that ring, I thought it was a faulty ring. I thought it's just a replica. I thought ye nakli hai. And that is why I threw it away. And I decided to live my life because who gives a golden ring in while begging? So what he rather had to do, that he should have gone to some he should have gone to a shop and to a goldsmith and got that ring checked. And if he would have done that, his life would be a completely different, he would be a completely different person. So he didn't respect what he got. He threw it away. And that's why still he was living like a beggar. And imagine the same thing which we do with ourselves every single day. In fact, I also do. I'm not telling that I'm perfect. I'm not so called perfect. In fact, there is nothing called perfection. There is the word called progression. Do not aim for perfection, aim for progression. You should progress every day. Do not look for that perfect moment. Progress. Your focus, your target should be progression, not perfection. And again, that is something which I have got from this movie called Equalizer. And that's the regret, the fifth regret, which people already always have when they die, that they try to make everybody happy, but not their own self. They think that the money which they get makes them happy, but guess what? It's not the happiness that is your destination. It's the byproduct of the way you live your life. Happiness is the byproduct of the way you lead, the way you live your life. So at the end, I would like to say that always remember that the way you think is the way you live your life. The way you decide to think, the way you interpret the thing, interpret the situation can completely change your life. And I would like to support this statement by quoting one true story. So once the president of America, John F. Kennedy, decided to go to NASA just to see how people work in NASA. And he could see rockets and missiles all over NASA, and he was astonished that America was blessed with such great scientists. But then he saw two janitors. Janitors means safai karmi. In Hindi, we say safai karmi. So he saw two janitors. So John F. Kennedy felt pity that at such lovely place, the janitor was working and he was living a miserable life. So he decided to go and speak. So he went up to the first janitor, that Safai wala, and asked, "Okay, what is your job? What do you do over here?" Then the janitor replied, "Nothing special. I just clean and sweep the floors. I mop, I make sure that the floors look shiny and clean so that people like you can come and appreciate." Then the president of America, John F. Kennedy, decided to go to the second janitor. And when he asked him that, what do you do? What's your job role? And he, with putting a smile on his face, replied that I am on a mission to help somebody going to Mars. I help NASA to make somebody go to Mars. I also contribute so that somebody from Earth can go to Mars. That's a completely change. That's a completely it's a completely different attitude to describe the same situation. One cleans the floor because he has to. Another person thinks that he contributes to NASA because ultimately when he maintains the sanitation, that is when somebody can walk and then enter inside the rocket and go to Mars. So he thinks that he contributes to NASA by helping them making people reach at Mars. That's the strong way to think. And John F. Kennedy completely got impressed by his way of thought process. And that's what I want all of you, because you are a part of English Times, and English Times is all about journey from ordinary to extraordinary. And to become that extraordinary, you have to think extra. You have to think a little extra. You have to think in a certain different and a specific manner to completely tune and change the course of your life. So I hope I have tried my level best. I have tried my level best to give you something valuable and to respect your time. And now the session is open for any kind of discussion. So if you want to ask anything, or if you would like to share your feedback as how's your experience, you can simply unmute your audio and you can participate. And before that, I would like to thank all of you once again from the bottom of my heart to come and listen to me. So now